Right. So, good afternoon. My name is Akil. It's very nice to meet you. And thanks for coming. Thanks for watching all the classes so far. Now, if you didn't know, all these classes are CPD accredited, which means that you are rewarded, awarded, certified for developing your business. You get professional development certificates for developing your business. And these are internationally recognized from the UK to US to Hong Kong. Like, the whole point is you are empowered to keep going. And just in case you need to prove that you've been spending time developing yourself, developing your work, developing what you have to offer, these are here for you. Now, they're also recognized by employers and they're recognized by many HR departments. So if you ever take a pivot out of your business or you're working on your business and working a job at the same time, this can show you're really invested in making some change and you're the right person to promote and move forward. Now, I have to apologize. This was meant to be a live class, but I have really bad signal where I am. And so this is a pre-recorded session. Hopefully I'll be here to dial in right at the end of the call to make sure I can answer any of your questions, but do bear with me on this one as I teach through this class and this course material, because unfortunately we have to do a pre-record. Anyway, I would like to give a big thank you to the Saturday School teaching team. I'd like to give a big thank you to Out the Box for organizing the community to get here today. And I'd like to thank Somerset House for sharing their platform with us so that we can teach as many people as possible, because it's literally within our mission to do so. Now, I hope you enjoy the session, and just to let you know, you're going to need a pen and paper for this session. This is a completely immersive and interactive session. Let's get started. Okay, so the way this is going to work is I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to be playing royalty-free music in the background. I don't want to get sued by anybody, so excuse me for that. And I'm going to challenge you to really start thinking about how you can organize yourselves to get the first steps of your business up and running. The plans and anything I try and teach you today, I've used myself time and time again, and I believe in this work. I believe in this approach, and this has helped me and like thousands of others now. Jesus, yeah, it's been a couple of years, but thousands of others now make a start with their businesses. So we hope to help you too. Okay. So this is making a business plan. I'm gonna keep an eye on the clock so I don't run over, but yeah, let's get cracking. Saturday School is here to teach the communities the basics of business. This was one of our first classes that we had in 2019, and this is actually in the atrium of M&C Saatchi in Golden Square. There are patrons, there are sponsors, and they allow us to do some of this great work for the community, so it's thanks to them. Saturday School is really here to help all, it's open to all, but it's really here to help underrepresented founders gain access to training, opportunities, and rewarding entrepreneurial careers. I've had the privilege of being able to work with some of the best people in the business, and that's allowed me to succeed. And so this is what I do for you because I believe in that too. In terms of an overview of what we plan to do today, I want to move this over here so it's out of the way. In terms of overview of what we plan to do today, we're going to have, we've done the intro. We're going to go into some icebreaker sessions. We're going to be able to develop your elevator pitch. We're going to map out your resources. I think knowing what you have in your toolkit, knowing what you have in your back pocket, in your arsenal is so important to you being able to leverage those resources for your favor. We're going to work on articulating what you're offering. We're going to map out your process to delivery. I'm going to talk to you about how you can do some customer research. There's a really good book I want to recommend you all. We're going to reaffirm your goals, and we're going to start planning out how you might be able to go to market. We'll close with just a retro and a task for you to do at home to hold yourself accountable. But are you ready to start? I hope you are, because I'm really ready to do this. I'm really looking forward to what we have. Water break. I'm still human. But let's go. So, This is how you make an elevator pitch. I would like you to write a short introduction about yourself. I would like you to provide a summary of what you do. I'd like you to explain what you want and finish on a call to action. So an example of this goes something like this. Hi, good afternoon. My name is Akil. I am the director of M&C Saatchi Saturday School. We teach communities the basics of business. I would like to partner with you because I would like to reach new communities and new audiences to teach more and more people. It's literally within our mission. It would be great if we could find some time to chat. Now, some advice around this is, I would say, take your time, take a deep breath. I would say, make it conversational. Don't use any jargon. And I would say, really just be comfortable in who you are and what you say. Now, if this means you have to stand in front of a mirror and practice again and again and again until it feels right to you, sounds right to you, and rolls off the tongue, then definitely do so. But for now, I'm actually gonna set a 2-minute timer, and I'm gonna give you an opportunity to write your own version. So let's see if this really works out. I'm gonna tap over to my royalty-free music. I'm gonna play some electronic dance. We're gonna go back, and I'm gonna give you a couple minutes. Let's see how you go. I'll be back in a moment. Final 10 seconds. All right. Let's wrap this up. So, how did that go? How do you find it? Hopefully it wasn't too bad, but please do remember this might just be your first draft. I've had to practice this for years now. When I first started, I was going to networking events, and the night before, I was literally like practicing my spiel. Hey, my name's Akil. I'm from this company. We do this, and we sell this. Like I'm still the strategic director of Comuzi, that a design studio that I founded with my friends a couple of years ago, and what I was doing was literally standing in front of the mirrors. Hey, my name's Akil. I'm from Comuzi, and we design products, services, and experiences for brands across the country. What do we want? Well, we're looking for new partners. We're looking for new business. We're looking for new customers. And I would love to take some time to show you our work. And that was it. If people were interested, they would ask me more about what I did. I would talk to them about some case studies, some clients we worked with, and I would start really trying to use this as a short 30 seconds to get myself into a conversation and start building relationships with folks that I may never have met beforehand. Hopefully you can like get practicing that. But yeah, let's see how you go. We're gonna move on to the next exercise. Don't worry, we'll see how you do. Okay, your 6-month vision. Now, this is a little challenge for you. I would love for you to take a moment, get one of your big pieces of paper, and draw a line on it, end to end, just like you see it now. I would love for you to identify what you're trying to do today and what you would like to achieve in 6 months' time. Now, I would ask for all your goals to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. I want to show you a few examples to get into this, so don't be alarmed. Before I like set you off to do this as a task, I'm gonna like give you a few examples. But what I'm gonna say is, when you're finished this, put this up somewhere where you can see it every day. Put it on your wardrobe, put it in your bathroom, put it on your fridge, put it somewhere where you can see it. Trust me. When you can do that, it gets into your psyche, and then new opportunities start coming out of nowhere that fit right on what you're trying to achieve, and you know that's the right thing to grab. But okay, let's take a look at this. So this is actually one of the first maps that we showed. This was one of the first maps that I drew out for Saturday School in 2019. We were teaching at a cafe then, and so we've definitely come a long way. But at that time, I was teaching 2 classes a month. Before we were fun, and this is what we were doing, we were teaching founders the basics of business. We do the same thing now. But I say teaching communities the basics of business instead. This is before we were funded. I wanted to teach premium classes where I might have done one-on-ones with anyone that was interested or could afford it. I wanted to have a company sponsor some of our classes, and I wanted to hire another teacher. The goal by December 2019 was I wanted to be teaching 4 classes a month, and I wanted to be making at least £1,000 in revenue. I don't believe in doing anything for free, even though it might be free for you. And so I wanted to work out a way to get paid for supporting my community. Now, the story turns out that I put this up somewhere on my vision board, and we smashed this in like 2 months. 2 months in, we moved out of the cafe. We moved into M&C Saatchi. M&C Saatchi started actually sponsoring some of the classes before they gave us the big sponsorship for 2020 and 2021. And we hired another teacher. Our first hire is actually another teacher that's still with us today. They're teaching the getting started with digital marketing, and their name is Patrice. And now we're still teaching 4 classes every time we come through. We also smashed the £1,000 goal, but now you see what I'm kind of talking about. The evolution of this is, remember when I told you that I still use these methods today? This is a vision board I drew out on June 2020. It's a little bit longer because we stretched it to June 2021. It's a little bit longer than 6 months because we stretched it to June 2021, but the tenets are still the same. This was in the middle of the pandemic, and so where I was at that moment in time was I had to not be afraid of reimagining everything. I had to keep my nose clean and stay out of trouble. I wanted to bring more of my visions to life. I wanted to make sure that our classes were CPD accredited. Our classes actually got CPD accredited in August 2020. I wanted to cash checks and build relationships. Saturday School 1,000. So hopefully today we taught 1,000 people. I pray to God, even if we didn't, I'm grateful for every single one of you that came out today. I wanted to make a Comuzi into a loving and profitable business. I wanted to remind myself of a few things, such as failure was inevitable and what's next. I wanted to raise a large chunk of money to support Saturday School in the future. We're working on that. And these are just some healthy reminders. I think through lockdown, sometimes through lockdown, I learned that Not everything needs to be a milestone and a goal and a thing to take off. Sometimes these things need to be things to keep you grounded when the times get hard. And so as much as I've got some milestones like make Comuzi a profitable business, teach 1,000 people, mentor 100 Black businesses, we're well on the way. We smashed that target now. We had 500 registered businesses when we kicked off. And I think we've done about 260 or 270 mentorship pairings so far. I want to see if I can get that to 5,000 by the end of the year, but fingers crossed that might take a stroke from God. But when it comes down to these reminders, I was like, okay, failure is inevitable. What's next? There was more things I had to do scared. So if I didn't die, run it. It was reminders to love deeply. It was reminders to keep growing and walking in faith. I think I developed a new relationship with myself and so a new relationship with my vision board over the last year and a bit. And with that, I would definitely say when you put this in front of you, when you put this in your room, on that wardrobe, in that bathroom, on your fridge, and you really put this in front of you, these are reminders. These are almost snapshots of what long-term thinking you want to do for yourself. And so I would say get it all down. Don't be afraid to do so. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back now. I am going to put up this vision board. I want to give you 5 minutes to kind of map something out for yourself. You've seen my examples, and now I would love you to really get into it and try something for yourself and do yours. Draw a big line on the piece of paper. Start with today, where you're at and what you're doing right now, and then put a date 6 months in time. So today's June 2021. Where do you want to be in December? Keep it simple, but keep it specific. Keep it measurable. Keep it attainable. Keep it realistic, and keep it timely. These are SMART goals. You'll get into this. But yeah, I'm going to put back on that royalty-free music. I'm going to set the timer to start from now. And I'm going to give you really 5 minutes to get into this. Let's go. Right, you have 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. Last 10 seconds. Perfect. Well done, everybody. Thank you so much. Now, how did you do? How did you find that? Was it easy? Was it hard? Write in the comments. Hopefully, I'm in the comments, and so like I can DM and message you all back. What I'm gonna do though is I want to give you another minute. The reason why I'm gonna give you another minute is because I want you to write down 1 or 2 goals that still fit in with the SMART goals. Sorry, that's my little girl. That still fit in with the SMART goals, but scare you absolutely. Like on my vision board, you might have saw raise 1 million for Saturday School 2 or 250K in profit. Like I want you to write down something that scares the living bejesus out of you. And I want you to look at it every day, same way you look at all the other goals which you think are important. I'm going to give you another minute. I want to see how you go. But yeah, let's find out. Let's get going. Okay, I'm going to call time. Hopefully you put down something that scared the living daylights out of you. And I think that's really important. I call that a stretch goal. Now, that means it's something that it might not be immediately possible with the life you're living now, but the fact that you know what it looks like means that you've got a better chance of receiving it, getting to it, working towards it, and realizing it when the opportunity comes. And trust me, if you really do this and put this in front of you every day, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But okay, we're gonna move on. So I would like you to get your page and divide it into 4. Like you could draw 4 columns, you could fold it in half twice and have 4 boxes. I don't know, I don't mind what you do, but get your page and divide it into 4. I need you to put skill set in one box. What skills, knowledge do you bring to the business? What social assets do you have? Be that who do you know through either virtual or physical networks. I want you to start thinking about what materials you might have. What can you use? What can you use to actually make something tangible? And then I think need you to think about what capital you have, how much cash, physical cash you have to make this work. Now, I'm not like Donald Trump's kid. I didn't have the father to give me a generous loan of $1 million. So if you think about cash and you say, I have none to get started, right? 0. That's fine. I've come from a place where we built a business with literally next to nothing, and we worked out how because we mapped out the resources we did have. So I'm going to talk you through this. I'm going to tell you a story about kind of how we got Saturday School started and why. Like, Saturday School is a business, right? And as much as I may be progressing to make it a charity, I started teaching so I could pay the rent, to be honest. Like, a lot of friends were asking me how to start a business, and I realized if I spent every day helping my friends, I would be out of work because I wouldn't be doing what I was really doing. And so I was like, okay, I've got a skill set under which I can teach. That was my skill set. I could teach people how to really put their business and put their business plans together. I enjoyed doing it. And so that was the skill set I brought to the table. And making product services and experiences for brands, making a new product or service for myself wasn't beyond me. And so I saw an opportunity to start investing the skills that other people paid me to do into myself to start seeing some of those outcomes. When it started thinking about, okay, what social assets do I have? I was like, well, my community, I'm really tapped into my community. I've been supporting businesses and others for years. So that part is great. But then I realized that in my social setting, it wasn't the people that I would be helping that was paying me. And so I started thinking about who else in my social community, who else in my social network could pay me to do this work. And so when we started Saturday School, it was actually on the premise that the directors, the senior leaders, all those people I worked with in my business at Comuzi, who already knew how great my skills were, I was going to get them to sponsor tickets for my community to attend my classes. And so I literally wrote a list of names down of people who are in my community who probably want to attend my class. But then I also wrote names down of people who are in my community and in my network who would probably pay for me to teach everyone else. Who I also wrote down was in this social thing, I also wrote down the names of people who could amplify my message. So I had friends over at Amalia. I made friends with people over at Galdem. I took some advice from Ibrahim at Guap. Like, I really did try and work out how I could leverage all this work to really move forward. To really move forward. For materials, I realized that, okay, I didn't need much. I probably just needed a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, that's absolutely great. I had a computer at the time. It was working. I had an internet connection. And so all I had to do was make the class. And that was really me sketching out on a piece of paper and working with a few others to really do this. And I remember the first iteration of the class, I almost chickened out of doing it. I was really like nervous about teaching, but we did it and we pushed ourselves forward and we moved forward. So just when it comes down to materials, just try. When it comes down to capital now, I only had £500. And to be honest, I used that £500 to make a logo. And in making that and investing in that logo, it was literally like I just wanted my brand to be different. I wanted my brand to stand out. I wanted to look like bubble writing. And so that's exactly what I did. And thanks to Miles, my graphic designer, for helping me do that. But now you kind of get the story. Now you kind of get the narrative. Now you kind of get what these things are about. Your business might be different. If you're making candles or doing nails or doing hair, you might need specific materials. If you are doing video production, you might need something else. If you're doing video production, you might need camera. 1 minute, sorry. If you're doing video production, you might need something else. But you kind of get it. Make a list of all the materials you need. If they come with costs, write down the costs so at least you can map out how much money you need to find to really make this go. And if you have capital requirements or you have money to invest in this because you've been saving, write that down because now you can work out what you might spend it on to get yourself up and running. So hopefully you've divided your page into 4. And that will cover your skill set, who you have in your social network, your materials, and your capital. I'm going to give you 5 minutes again to kind of map this out. I'm going to give you an opportunity to really look at and write down what you have to offer. Hopefully I've labored the point enough, the fact that you understand. I'm sorry it's a pre-record, so I thought I'd make sure we can explain this as thoroughly as possible. Time starts now. Back to the royalty-free music. I hope you don't hate it. You're halfway through. I want to move on to the next slide. Jesus, sorry. Right, coming up to the last 30 seconds. Right, how are we doing? How do we find that? Hopefully now you should have a complete map of all the resources. It's almost like having your store cupboard mapped out and you doing all your inventory to find out what exactly you have in your arsenal to take down. Like, yeah, I'm mixing metaphors. Basically, it's like knowing what's in your cupboard and knowing exactly what's there so you can make any meal you want. We're gonna move on. Hope you're keeping pace. Hope you're finding out okay. For anyone that's joined us, welcome to the Making a Business Plan class. You've missed some, but you haven't missed all. And so you can probably just either rewind to start from the beginning or just dive right in. Now, I want to ask you about what your business is doing. Are you offering a product or a service or an experience? What is it and how would you describe that to others? Um, at Saturday School, we offer a service. We teach you, and we're teaching you the basics of business. What is it? We teach CPD accredited classes across business planning, digital marketing, well-being at work, and business finance essentials. Um, how do you describe that to others? Well, we just did. We just described that to you. But this is what I would like you to describe and articulate. Um, this shouldn't be hard, so I'm not going to give you long. But yeah, think about it. Also, you might be doing something fancy. You might be offering a productized service. You might be offering an experience. We've just put these two categories in because we're getting people started. We're teaching people the basics. But don't be afraid to break the boundaries and break outside of these things. Hopefully, I'm in the chat. So if you do have any questions, do write down your questions. But yeah, product or service, and how do you describe what that is? Make sure, just as a few tips, keep your description as simple as possible. Remember, you don't want to confuse people. You just want people to be able to understand exactly what you do and what you offer like this. Let's get going. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. Please do ask any questions in the chat because hopefully I'm going to be there. Let's go. 5 seconds to go. So what's your type of business? I know we got a lot of creative businesses here. So the next example I'm going to give for the next step is actually going to be about service. So we can support some of those creative businesses who find it a little bit difficult describing and selling some intangible stuff, creative work. But that shouldn't hinder from this being self-explanatory for anyone doing anything. So we're going to move on, but hopefully you've got that down, you've got that nailed, you've got that really clear. If you're super confident, how about you write some of your, if you're super confident, how about you write some of your descriptions in the chat? Let's see how you're doing. Let's see what your business looks like. Let's see what it sounds like. It'll be great to hear from you. But we're gonna move on. So your offering, how do you think you're going to actually deliver your product or service? Are your steps clearly defined? And can you make this into a process? Now, the thinking behind this is the fact that if you know how you're going to deliver, it's a lot easier to take your customer through the steps of what you're going to do, from taking on a creative brief to understanding the work, to maybe doing some research, to maybe coming up with some ideas, prototyping and delivering. That's what we do at Comuzi. If your steps are also clearly defined, it helps you write proposals better. It helps you make sure that people can understand you for what you're bringing to the table. And if you can make this into a process, this is where it gets super interesting. You can break away from it having to be you, the founder with all the know-how of your business. If you can make it into a process, you can break away from it having to be you that has to deliver all parts of the work. And now that's important, because you know you cannot do everything. But you can build a team, and teams are built on great processes, and this could be your step one to making that happen. What I'd like you to do is I would like you to think about what you said your product or service was. Think about how you describe that to others, and now think about how you deliver that. I don't mind if that number is a list of 1 to 10. I don't mind if that is a list of 1 to 5. I would like you to start mapping out the clearly defined steps for you to run your product or service, for you to run or deliver your product or service. If you're running a product, that might be receiving an order, that might be printing off a label, that might be packaging in a certain way, that might be sticking a label onto a box, and that might be taking that to your closest post office or distribution center. If that's your process for your product, write it down. Get it down. If you're a creative business, it might be a little bit different. You might receive a brief. You might have a meeting with the client to break that down and understand it. You might go away and do some research, some mock-ups, some sketches. You might bring that back and let the client choose. And then you might go and build it out and design it out to this greater fidelity and hand it over. That also might be the case. I don't think it really matters as long as you know what you're doing. And I wouldn't say make this up. If you've been in this already, and if you've been doing this for a minute, I would say take a moment to reflect back on what you've been doing. Like, write down what you do today. I'm not asking for rocket science. I'm not asking for anything brand new. I'm just saying document it so others can participate. Now, if this is actually brand new for you, I'd like you to imagine. I would like you to imagine how you might go about the process. Having a clear visualization of what this is and how you might go about it would be great, because you can test against it. You can see if those are the right steps or the wrong steps. And this will give you a greater opportunity to be able to deliver on your goals and your vision successfully too. All right? We're gonna give you 5 minutes. I love to set a timer, but I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to get this. No, I lie. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes. I'm gonna hothouse you a little bit. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes to get this out, and to try something, and we're gonna see how we go. If it is too short of a time, then sketch it out. Get a rough draft, get a rough version. Nothing in this class is meant to be perfect. It's just meant to give you a jumping off point, a starting point, so that you can really get into it in your own personal time. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. It starts now. I look forward to hearing what you got. I look forward to hearing what you got, and I'm going to pull that slide up in just a moment. Don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. Right, everybody, that is it. Time up. I would actually love to be here today. I'm sorry I'm not here. But I would actually love to hear what your businesses are up to, how you plan to deliver them, your product or service. I don't know if anyone's typing today. If you're typing, do share like your process in the comments, what you've been up to, how you think you're gonna get your business service down pat. I think mapping out your offering is absolutely essential. It allows you to write proposals better. It allows you to talk to customers better. It allows you to work with your team better. Like what's the word? I couldn't emphasize this enough to how it can make a difference for your business. So I really do hope you took the opportunity and took the time to draw it out, sketch it out, and to try something with this, because this is probably be step one if you're bogged down as a founder doing everything in your business to getting out from under that burden. We've been doing a lot of work I'm gonna say we're gonna have a 5 minute break. I'm gonna say for the people in the live class anyway, who are watching this or watching the pre-recording, introduce yourself to someone you don't know. I think it'll be great for you to like speak about your businesses and tell us who you are and what you've been up to. I'll be really grateful for that. For everybody else, take a 5 minute break, relax your brain. I know it's been a really, like, it might be a really tough hour because I know this can really challenge a few people, especially if this is your first time really putting steps into making your business happen. I'm going to see you in 5. Um, hopefully we'll have you back and we'll start digging into what customer research is. We're going to start digging into what might kill your business, and we're going to start digging into like how to hold yourself accountable so you can really make the steps that matter. Speak to you in 5. Hey everybody, coming up to like the last couple seconds of the 5 minute break. Hope you feel refreshed. I hope your brain feels a little bit more at ease. We're gonna go into like the last couple sections, and I'm gonna talk you through a few things. Tripping over my words there. All right, last 20 seconds. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's glad to have you. Hopefully you'll return back from your break. Hopefully you didn't just drop off the call. We've got a little bit more to go. 3, 2, and 1. Thank you for joining me for so far. I hope you're getting a lot out of it. I know we've helped a lot of people that have done this course. About 87% of the people that have done this course felt empowered to make their next step with their business. So we hope we're empowering you too. But okay, let's move on. I want to talk to you about something. So this is about your target audience. Being able to identify and understand your target audience is absolutely essential for you to grow. When I was thinking about Saturday School, as much as we were open to all, we really put some emphasis on making sure that our course could be accessible to people from underrepresented backgrounds, especially Black women, women of color, and young people 16 to 25. You can see that that's a real demographic point of view. And the reason why we chose that is because we understood that those community groups were most disadvantaged in the workforce, most disadvantaged for economic empowerment. And so that's where we decided to make change and make a real big difference. What is your demographic of your customer? Does your customer even have demographics, or is it something more of a psychographic? A psychographic is about what people believe, what people's worldview, what are people's personalities, what are their values, what are their opinions, what are their attitudes, what are their interests. The psychographic is almost like a demographic for the mind. Like, do people share the same points of view? You and your friends might have the same psychographic, even though you might be all multicultural and look completely different, come from different backgrounds. We found that there was a psychographic in the early days of Saturday School. We found that there was a psychographic of people who sponsored tickets for others. We found that they really supported community action. We found that they were of the opinion that everyone should have an equal opportunity. We found that they were of a lifestyle where they were comfortable and could afford to have not frivolous spending, but they could afford the extra spend to spend £50 a ticket to teach someone else. They had the values of wanting to do good for their communities and improving the world around them. Once I could identify someone like that, I found it really easy to sell a ticket. Once I could identify someone that believed in improving outcomes, believed in Black Lives Matter, believed in making a difference for communities in Palestine, I believed in making a difference for Muslim sisters and so on and so forth. They really bought into the work I was doing because I was empowering exactly those people, and they bought and sponsored tickets for us to get those people in the room and for us to teach them the work that we had. What is the demographic and psychographic of your business? Now, this is a difficult question if you've never started before. So I would like you to just take a stab at it and take a guess. If you've had some previous customers before, I'd like you to ask yourself, what do those people look like? How about you draw out a demographic or a psychographic picture of them based on the points you see in front of you, and then start thinking about who else in your community, who else in your social network might look like that. I'm going to give you the opportunity to develop one demographic or psychographic persona of someone who you believe would buy your goods or services. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do so. I'm going to go find out how that little girl is because she's with her mum, but she seems to be crying. 2 minutes to go. We're going to play some electronic music. It seems to be the thing that works today. Let me know if you love it or hate it because I'll make a change for the next time I do this. Let's go. 2 minutes starts now. Last 30 seconds. I only want you to make one demographic or psychographic picture of someone who's either bought your services before or someone who you think might buy your services if this is brand new for you. Just try it out. You can either test it to see if they're going to buy more from you again, or test it to see if your hunch was right or wrong. Either way, you will find something out about your business and what you sell. All right, last 5 seconds. Let's see. Welcome back. Well done, everybody. You're doing extremely well. Hopefully you're doing extremely well. I think you are anyway. Because you showed up and you're putting in the time, effort, and energy. This is not meant to be perfect, and this is meant to challenge you a little bit to start thinking differently about your business. These are the basics you're going to need if you're really going to make an effort of this. So please keep going and understand we're close to the end. All right. So now you've got a picture of your customer. I'm going to recommend you get this book one way, shape, or form. You can Google it, and I'm sure there's copies available to you, and you can work out how to get yourself one. But this is the Mum Test. The Mum Test is a book written by Rob Fitzpatrick, and it's about doing customer research. Now, you might think doing customer research is just walking up to any old person and saying, hey, will you buy my product? This is my product. Look how great it is. I want to tell you about all the fancy features. Will you buy it? Yes or no? Unfortunately, that is, as a researcher, as someone who spent years doing this now, goodness, years. As someone who spent years doing this now, that's not the way to go. But the Mum Test is actually a really interesting way for you to find out some really interesting stuff about your work. So with your demographic or psychographic, you now have the opportunity to start identifying who your potential customer is. And that is golden. The reason being is because you can now walk up to them, find them, survey them on the internet, and start listening to what they have to say. And this is the lessons from the Mum Test. So this is how you might navigate a customer research conversation. I would suggest, this girl's having a great time. I would suggest you talk about their life instead of your idea. I would suggest you get specific instead of just generic opinions about the future. And I would suggest you talk less and listen more. Now, an example of what I mean by this is, well, if I'm trying to sell you an alarm clock, I'm not gonna tell you, oh, you have a problem in the morning. If I'm trying to sell you an alarm clock, I'm gonna ask you about the times you were late and why. If I'm trying to sell you an alarm clock, I might ask you about your morning routine. If I try and sell you an alarm clock, I might ask you about the things that you missed that you actually wanted to be there for. I would like, if I'm going to sell you an alarm clock, I want to understand your life. If I'm going to sell you creative work, I want to understand your business and what challenges that you might have. If I want to sell you creative work, I might ask you about the previous creative work that you've done in the past, not in the future. And that's getting specific. If I want to go back to that alarm clock though, if I want to sell you an alarm clock, I might ask you about what sounds that you like versus what sounds don't you like. I wouldn't ask you, hey, would you buy this thing? Or hey, would this sound wake you up? I'll ask about what sounds woke them up in the past. They might have had alarms before. They might have had that old Nokia to wake them up, or they might have had a Samsung doing a ringtone forever. I don't know, but ask and get specific. Find out. When it comes down to creative work, you might want to get specific about what their intentions were in buying previous creative work. If this is their first time, you might want to get specific about the timelines that they expect when delivering creative work. When you're selling creative work, or when you're doing customer research about delivering creative work, you might want to understand the formats that they use for their the formats that they might use for their outputs. What types of files are there? What file sizes? Are there restrictions? Once you ask these questions, keep quiet. Don't edge in sideways. I'm a big talker, so not even a big talker, I'm very talkative. And so when people are talking, I literally hold my thumb and cross my hands and I press down a little bit. It stops me from talking. It reminds me just to stay present and to listen, stay present and to listen, stay present and to listen. And if that doesn't work, and I do that because usually I'm recording their feedback on my phone or something so I can take it back for post-analysis. If that doesn't work, I usually make sure I have a pen and paper. I make sure I'm writing not furiously, but writing all the notes I can. And that usually keeps me concentrated on just listening. I would advise you to listen and then come back with follow-up questions at the end of the session so that you can make sure that you captured everything versus interjecting them. I would seriously advise you get this book. It's very simple, it's very accessible. I wouldn't recommend it if it was jargon. It's also, you can't see this from the picture, but the book is really slim. So it's not one of those books that will like burden you, that you're walking around with for 6 months. It's something that you can get through in a weekend if you're dedicated, or something you can get through in a week or two, and it doesn't really burden you, but the information in it is really concise, is really critical and really helpful and can get you moving. If you've got that picture of your demographics and psychographics on the previous slide, going to ask them and going to find out more about your product or service is a great first step to seeing if your product or service is the right thing for them. Moving on. What's the one assumption that will kill your business? I'll ask you again. What is the one assumption that will kill your business? Now, when we first started, one of our assumptions was that people would pay again and again, almost like a subscription model, for people to attend classes. That wasn't true. And so that was an assumption that if we didn't realize, we would have run out of sponsors and that would have killed our business. When we started, well, not even when we started, when COVID hit, one of the assumptions was that M&C would fund our final year, our next year. and we were comfortable continue funding our year, and we were comfortable and confident with that. Then COVID hit, and then our funding got cut. M&C still funded us, but not to the extent that we previously hoped. That's changed now, and we've done some great work and partnered with them, and we've made leaps and bounds. But everyone got hit, and that almost sunk our business. One of the key assumptions is that this course and this stuff is really valuable for you, and that will keep you all and you will all keep attending, and so my business is viable because there's demand. If we don't continue delivering value, that might not be the case, and that will kill our business. What's the one assumption that will kill your business? If it's a product business, will people always want your product? Will your product be fashionable? Will it always be in demand? Will people always need it? If it's a service business, will people always need your services? Will there be a new way of doing things? Is your way outdated? Do people want your method of delivery? Will your customer want what you need enough of the time to make it viable for you? Is there enough customers in your market? Do people even care? These are all questions, and if you don't start thinking about this, this is bringing the elephant to the room. And this is taking the thing that keeps you up at night and bringing it right slap bang to the table and looking at it square in the eye. And if you can take this moment to think about that one assumption that might kill your business, you can look at that and say, hey, I can plan around this. Hey, we can do something different today to make sure that doesn't come true. Hey, we can make sure we're in a good place, that we keep iterating on ourselves so that customers never get bored of us, that our customers always want something from us. I think that's important. 2 minutes, back to the music. Gonna give you some time to really think about it. But yes, the key question of the moment: what's the one assumption that will kill your business? Let me know what you think. And also, if you're really daring with it, write in the comments so other people can see it, so other people can get inspired. Because most likely there's a few of you doing similar things, so you might be able to vibe off each other. Let's find out. Your 2 minutes starts now. Right, how was that? Did you write it all out? Did you write it in the chat? Let me know how you did. Let me know how you did. We're coming up to the close now. There's only like 2 more slides to go. And so I'm gonna really talk you through some of this. Right, I need to know something from you all. Are you running a B2B business? Are you selling to other businesses? Or are you running a B2C business? Are you selling to consumers? Or are you doing something complicated like B2B2C, business to business, and then you reach consumers at the end? A B2B business would be something like Comuzi. We sell to our design services to other businesses. They procure those. And if we were going to market, we have to think about how many conversations do we have if we want a customer. We have to think about what's our pipeline like. How many people are really interested in buying our services? And we have to think about closing sales. What do we have to do to close sales? And usually that is bidding for work, writing really good, strong proposals, and then following up at the end of that with a lot of detail and a lot of follow-up work to make sure we get there. And the common thing about this is conversations is a numbers game. Like if we want to win one deal at Comuzi, we know we need to be talking to potentially like 7 different people. And to get to those 7 interested people, and that would be our pipeline number. And to get those 7 interested people, we might be talking to 10 or 15 different companies to get to those 7. To close, so that is it. Like 15 conversations will lead to a pipeline of 7 potential leads, and those 7 potential leads will close to about 1 sale. That's how we do business at Comuzi, and we focus on the numbers. We focus on an easy delivery method of our proposals so we can communicate our work. And in our proposals, we show previous work which we've already done in the similar areas to make sure that we can show endorsements. We can show that we've done this before, that we're qualified, and that we're good for it. Now, if you haven't done previous work before, maybe show similar projects that you've done before. Maybe you want to show some similar projects that you've done before. Maybe you want to show some sketches. Maybe you want to show the client that you've been thinking about the work. The great thing about endorsements is what you're actually trying to do is you're trying to give someone confidence that you can do this job. And so if that's the job to be done with endorsements, giving people confidence that you can do this job, there might be different ways you can go about it. Now, are you a B2C company? Do you sell products to many people? Do you sell a magazine? Are you someone who is looking to, I don't know, sell hair? Like, do you sell product? Do you sell a magazine? Do you sell? Do you run a TV show with online subscriptions? I don't know, but when you think about it, it's quite similar, right? If you wanted to reach your customer, how many channels are you plugged into? How many affiliates do you have that are tied to your work? At Saturday School, we've got lists of community organizers and community participants so that we have channels to reach our audience. Somerset House is one of the channels we use to reach our audience. How might you amplify your voice? Can you be featured in a magazine? Can you get on news? Can you get press? Can you get a YouTube ad? Can you get some product placement? Can you be seen and heard? Amplifying your voice is a great way to get more people to find out about you. And lastly, if you're a consumer business, how do you capture your audience? How do you get people to sign up to that newsletter? How do you get people to follow, click, and subscribe? How do you get people to really come back to you again and again and again? Now, in front of you I want to give you like 3 minutes to really think about this. This is something that might be difficult for you if you're brand new to this, but I want you to think about it nonetheless. If you're a B2B business, I want you to go back to your materials list and I want you to think about who you could be talking to get that next sale. And I want you to be thinking about a list of 10 names or so to get yourself there. If you are a B2C business, I want you to think about the different channels you can use to amplify your voice. Be it that you need to follow people on Instagram, socials, or Facebook. Maybe you need to pay for a posting or an ad or something. I want you to start thinking about how you can get yourself out there to reach your customers. And lastly, for closing sales, like, do you have these people's numbers already? Can you call them up? Can you develop a relationship with them? For B2B business is a lot of the relationship building. For B2C and capturing your audience, how do you do that? Can you get them to sign up to a newsletter? Can you get them to follow you? Can you get them to subscribe to something that you're putting out regularly? Let me know and let's find out. This is going to be your last task with me here today. And then I'm going to set you some homework for you to do by yourself to push yourself forward. This is our last run at it, so do try. What I'd like you to do is map out what you can to how you might get yourself to market and get your product out there. How many conversations? Can you build a pipeline? How might you close sales? What are your channels? How might you amplify your voice? How might you capture your audience? Hopefully this makes sense. I know this is the hardest one and we save the hardest one till last, but I believe in you, so keep trying. Last 3 minutes, we're gonna get this done, I promise you. Let's go. Final minute. Last 10 seconds. Remember, this is only a space to get your ideas down and start riffing. Once you finish this session, you can work on it further. Right. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I would like to say absolutely well done. I know the last exercise might be really difficult. By the way, if you have any comments, hopefully I'm going to be in the chat. So please do feel free to write down any challenges you might have had, any questions you might have had. I'll happily discuss them with you. But these are just starters for 10. So don't be worried if you couldn't put a whole plan together. That wasn't the idea. This was to provoke you into thinking about how you might get those conversations, how you might get those numbers up, what channels you might use to reach your audience, who might endorse you, how you might capture your audience. This is to get you thinking about how you can get that done. But okay, thank you for rocking with me for so long and this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. It's time to hold yourself accountable. So I'm going to bring this session to a close, and I would like to thank you for attending. But before I do that, I want you to write down some of these questions, and when you're finished, I want you to pick up your phone. Now, this is a challenge. I know not many of you will do it, but I believe in the people that do. And so I would like you to pick up your phone. I would like you to say your name, what your mission is, where you're at now, what are your SMART goals, who's your target audience, and how you're going to get there. And I think the biggest thing I want you to map out today and tell yourself in that video is what is going to be your first step. Like, all of this is cute because it's just a recap of what we've done today. So you can talk through the key parts of your plan. But I think when you look at this recording and when you look into that camera, I think you tell yourself what's gonna be your first step. That's it. We're done. We're finished. Now you have a business plan. It might not traditionally be what you think it looks like, but trust me, this will put you in good stead to get there. That girl's having a fun time outside of her mama. Look at that. But thank you for attending the class. Thank you for rocking out and riding with me for the time we've been here. If you would like to get your CPD certificate for participating, please fill out the form in the description below in the YouTube description below. Everything is there. It's going to ask you a couple questions. It's going to ask you about who you are, your name. It's going to ask you about what class do you attend. You'll click this one, making a business plan, and it'll provide you with all the details that you need so that you can get your certificate. The forum is only going to be open for 24 hours. So please do get in and try get that done as soon as you can at the end of this class so that we can process your certificates and get them out to you. Thank you for doing this with me. I hope you learned something and I hope we added value to your day. I want to stop sharing now. It's nice to see you. It's nice to hear you. I'm grateful for having you. And goodbye. And Mars says goodbye too, I guess. Speak to you soon. Bye.